Okay, so let's get started. I'd like to welcome my colleague, Heileen. Hi, Heileen. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi.
Heileen will be helping me as we walk you through ChatGPT versus Copilot when it comes to prompting. I'll be taking on more of the Copilot wing, and Heileen will be taking on more of the chat wing. But the idea is that you walk away today empowered in knowing which applications use to support which one of your workflows or life flows that you want. So Heileen, why don't you take us through the agenda and what we're going to talk about today?
Yes, thanks, Anouk. Hi, everyone. Super excited to be here. We're going to first start off with why prompts matter. Then we'll go into that breakdown of prompting for ChatGPT versus prompting for Copilot. We'll do a bit of a head-to-head showdown showing examples using both. We'll discuss which should you choose and why. And we'll finish off with a conclusion and then a Kahoot with a prize. So take
Good
some
stuff.
notes because you can win something.
Yeah. That's the highlight of our presentations, I think, that Kahoot. So why are prompts really important? And we've talked to our clients a lot about prompting. They're important because they're the gasoline to your car, your AI car. So if you don't know how to prompt your AI engine, you're not going to get back what you want, and then you'll get frustrated and it won't encourage you to try it again. So it's going to produce results as good as the way you ask for them. So you definitely want to be very clear in asking for what you need. You want to give it sources. You want to be able to direct it into the direction that you need. What happens a lot is people think that AI is a mind reader, and it's not. You have to point it to a source. You have to give it a tone. You have to tell it what you're looking to get back, and you need to work with it as you develop a relationship with your AI tool, whether it be Chat or Copilot. So taking us through some examples, Heileen.
So first, we're going to start off with a vague, non-descriptive prompt that gives an okay answer. So we're using chat just for the example here. The question is, should I use ChatGPT or Microsoft Copilot? As you can see here, it's generated a response that's a little bit general, talks about the key features of both, key differences, and then it summarizes the quick answer. This is not a bad answer from chat, but we can have a more tailored answer for our specific needs. So we'll show you the next example. In this one, we're giving a clear and specific prompt, and then it will result in an in-depth answer. As we can see, we've labeled, what your role is. So I'm a CFO from a mid-sized company. We talk about our services and then how each can support us. The answer we get here is specific to tasks that the AI is assuming that we do, and how each type of AI platform can support those tasks. So a lot more in depth, especially when you're starting conversations with your team about AI.
Correct. And we're going to dive deeper into the pros of each solution. But Heileen, and we'll talk more about it, it had to give a lot of detail because the chat engine is not tied in to her Microsoft environment and all the tools she's using day to day. So that's important as well. She's having to direct it to an information source.
And further to that, AI is only as smart as the data you give it. So we'll talk again about how each platform gets data.
You got it. So when you look, I mean, there are other competitors. I would say Gemini's up there. They're making some really great progress in terms of image creation. And at Techify, we're still testing all these solutions for our clients. But when you think about the two major players, it's almost like thinking of Coke and Pepsi, right? So you have Copilot and you have ChatGPT. But what's happened in the last year is that a lot of the predictions were incorrect, right? So Copilot doesn't have the plumbing necessarily that Chat has, which creates a nicer user experience. So if you're not using AI on a regular basis, if nobody has trained you on how to use it for work, you're going to have an easier experience with ChatGPT versus 365, which requires a little bit more training. So the Copilot is great for documents, spreadsheets, emails, and meetings and tying into your day-to-day workflow. Whereas when you think of chat, I think of it as more of a conversational AI tool. And it's nice to interact with it. It almost feels like texting with a bestie. And it's great for ideas, creativity, and problem solving. So Heileen, I'll let you take over on how they're a little different with the prompting.
Yeah, of course. So we'll go to the next slide, please. So we can think of it as we're asking the same questions, but there's different rules for each. So with Copilot, and this is where I spoke about it being as smart as the data you give it, Copilot is embedded into your work environment. So it has access to your SharePoint, your inbox, all of your files, your team meetings. So it knows your files already, and it can use context from all of that. So it requires less manual data entry in the prompt itself. And then versus versus chat, it needs all of that context for the prompt. So we say, bring your own data. And for yourselves, you may already be working with Copilot because your company has started rolling it out, and you may be practicing and experimenting with chat on the side. So this is what we're really going to focus on. Like if you're doing that experimentation, what is required of you to get a similar answer than you would have done with Copilot?
Correct. Thanks, Heileen. So taking you through a couple examples, if you look at, this is my Copilot setting. So, sorry, actually, I think it's Heileen's. And
I think Hugo's.
yeah, or Hugo's. So when you look at his Copilot, he's going up, follow up on last week's email with John. So if you were to put that into a free chat version, first of all, we're not big fans of any kind of free AI version here because of the fact that your information is feeding the large language model. But it also doesn't have access to your day-to-day in the way Copilot would, right? So if I say follow up on last week's email with John, I still feel that that prompt's a little too vague. You'd want to give the name of the person, maybe a little bit more context about the day you received or what it talked about. But Copilot is able to do a deeper search because it's within your environment, right? So let's go through that, Hugo.
Oh,
And
actually,
then,
can we go back to the last slide for one quick second? There's just one thing I wanted to note here as well. With Copilot, because it knows everything going on in your workday, it actually, if you look below, it's giving you pre-existing prompts to help you and support you on your day-to-day. So asking what the latest news is from Anouk's emails, summarize some messages and meetings, and recap on your most latest meeting. So the prompts are preset to help you be successful in your workday as well.
you got it.
Go ahead.
I think, and I don't want to take us off track, but I'm pretty excited. I built my first 2 agents last weekend because I test these platforms. We like to live and breathe it at Techify. And the reason I'm only going to bring this plug really quickly is that when I built my first agent, those little pop-ups showed up as well within the Copilot environment. So what's great is it really feels like you're working with a teammate in a work setting. So thanks for bringing that up, Heileen. So if we look at the chat slide, see, it's a lot emptier, right? So if you're, and we'll talk about the different versions of chat that you can purchase, but if you've got Chat Plus, you'll get a little bit more personalization. But right now, for the purpose of this webinar, a lot of people are using unpaid versions of AI. So we wanted to compare it to the free chat version, but we will also talk about the Plus. But for the chat, you can see it's not giving you prompt ideas. It feels like a less personal experience.
And I would argue that you even need more than that in the prompt, like exactly what you had said, why he hasn't followed up, what company, what the reason why you're reaching out. So this is, I think it even needs more than this. You'd have to have a multi-prompt approach almost to get the right answer for this one.
You got it. It's the thing with chat as well is it's more creative. So it's deemed to have high creativity, especially ChatGPT Plus, whereas Copilot would be more moderate on the creativity side, a little more conservative in terms of taking charge. So the more context you give it, the more likely you're to get something that you want. So how do we want to optimize how we're prompting in each different platform? We're going to take you through that right now. With Copilot, you want short and direct prompts, but you want to be able to reference a document or an app. And the cool thing with Copilot is I always call it the magic wand. So the / in Copilot is the way you're going to tag a source to the prompt that you are making. Another thing is you want to think of productivity commands, like tell it what to do and of course where you want it to find it, and then help teach it how you work, right? So leverage your data, your files, your charts, your calendars, and keep in mind that it has access to all your Microsoft tools. I'd say also create and save your prompt library. That's very important. You don't have to redo it every time. If you have a fantastic prompt, right, that is giving you a graph for an engineering report that you needed, and you're going to be using it for a lot of RFPs, save it to your library, and you can even share it with a teammate via Teams, copy that prompt and save it over. And I'll let Heileen walk us through how to prompt for chat.
Thank you. So with ChatGPT, you have to be descriptive and give good context. We say you can also assign a role, so act as a CFO advisor to help you, or act as a person or a manager who's worked in this field for 25 years within so-and-so industry. So it has that place to reference first. We have to add style and tone for chat. So, keep it under 200 words, make it very professional, make it very warm, make it very blunt, whatever you prefer so it learns that writing style that you're comfortable with. You have to give examples, so you can paste a previous email and say, based off of this one, update it for this, this, and that. And then you constantly have to iterate and refine. So obviously review the results that chat has given you, but you may have to also multi-prompt it, as I mentioned. Try it again, but shorter. Try it again, but in a better tone.
You got it. Yeah, it's what I was researching as well is the plus version of ChatGPT can be good for long multi-step conversations, and that's why I was referring to it feels like you're talking with a bestie, where Copilot is a little bit more rigid and feels more like a work interface, but from a work setting can provide you with more of what you need in terms of data. So that's great. Moving forward, Hugo. So let's do a head-to-head prompting showdown. We're going to take a look at how both platforms respond to similar prompts so that we can in real time see the differences. So writing a follow-up email. This is our first scenario. Act as a professional account manager, write in short, polite follow-up email to client who hasn't responded in a week about the proposal we sent. Keep it under 120 words, professional but friendly, and suggest a time next week for a quick call. So what did we do right here, Heileen?
So first, that rule assignment. So we've given chat that context there. It guides the tone and the level of professionalism. We've given it context. So for example, in this one there was no reply for proposal. We gave it those constraints under 120 words, professional and friendly, and we also gave it a call to action. So we're really feeding that to get the exact result that we'd like without having to do multi-prompts.
Yeah, and I'd like to draw attention to the 120 words. I think that's very important. Be specific in the length of the report, because what I found in using all the different platforms is that sometimes you're just looking for something really quick or a little research, and then it comes out with this really, really long report, and then you have to work with it a few times to get it down to what you need it. So when you're telling it, hey, I want a one-pager EOS style, or, I want it as a one-page process, whatever it is, be specific in the length, because I feel it'll cause less frustrations and back and forth.
I've also found myself using, like, for example, if I knew it was going to be a lengthy email, I would say something like, put a section of it in bullet points so it's easy to read, like user-friendly to read or reader-friendly. So I am really specific to get the result that I want without having to make so many changes.
Yeah, the table format's a great reference. I do that a lot as well. And I'll ask and you can ask, like Heileen said, for bullet points, because then it's a lot easier to share with your team what you found. Now, moving forward to Copilot, write a polite follow-up email to John about last week's proposal, suggest a time next week for a call. So it was short and direct. The nice thing with Copilot, and this is where you can kind of see a little more the advantage of tying into your Microsoft tools, you're not having to give it as much to get more back because it's tied into your day-to-day. So if you don't get back what you need from this short and direct message, then you want to work with Copilot to understand why. What's nice is that you're keeping it very task focused, which is what Copilot loves, and you're giving it the tone. And no need to restate the role or constraints. It's already in the know because it's attached to all your apps.
I can add to that. So with Copilot, you can actually put this prompt directly from within your email. So you don't need to open up the Copilot app and do it in there. You can do it from within. You can start typing, or you can just use that / to give it some context.
Yeah, good point. That's true. So second scenario, summarizing a report. So do you want to take us through the chat, Heileen?
Yeah, so for this one, we've given that rule again. So you're a strategy consultant, summarize this 5-page market research report into the 3 biggest takeaways for executives. Keep each takeaway to 2 sentences, no jargon, and make the tone confident and concise. Present as a numbered list. Well, what we've done here is that role assignment, so executive voice, as we've done here, constraint. So as Anouk was saying, sometimes it can spit out a lot of helpful information, but it's just too hard to look through. So 3 takeaways, 2 sentences each. There is a lot of clarity there, so no jargon, confident tone, and a structured numbered list we're asking for. So we're being very specific.
This is a great prompt. So now for Copilot, summarize this report into the top 3 takeaways for executives using plain language. You could be more specific. We're going to go through what we've done well, but what we're trying to showcase here is when something is tied into, a tool is tied into your environment, you don't have to give as much information. It's always better to be providing context, to be very specific, but it will understand. So we were short and directive, right? We're providing context. And there's a concise ask where we're asking for 3 takeaways and we're telling them the language. So for people like Techify who work in an MSP tech space, the language part is huge. And I would say, we work with the AEC sector. So when you're looking at engineering, construction, sometimes you're wanting to send a report to a POC, to a decision maker, and you don't want it to sound as technical. And that's where I find AI can be a superpower, because you could say to AI, hey, can you rewrite this engineering report as if I was explaining it to a child? And it's not condescending, it's just they're not an expert in the field. So then they're able to understand it clearer. So we use AI a lot sometimes to explain in plain language that everybody would understand what it is we're trying to achieve.
If I can add to that as well, a lot of the way I use AI with my emails is when I'm reaching out to different companies, I will also say note that this company is within construction. So in the email, highlight how AI can support that industry specifically. So it'll do that research for me and spit out the information that's relevant.
Yeah, it helps us stay in the know because it's moving very fast. All right. Scenario 3, we're analyzing data. Techify loves data. So we don't need to read the whole prompt, but essentially we're wanting to create an analysis of a spreadsheet. I find this incredible in terms of using AI to support reports, because what'll happen is a lot of times you'll have a report. Let's say we're trying to do a comparison of clients brought in within your firm, or you have Excel forms that have various financial data, and you want to identify the trends, and you want it to just be a nice colorful table so that when you're sitting in a boardroom, people understand right away, here's what went well, here's what didn't, in a visual way. That is where AI can be very supportive. It can create that table and summary and create a presentation deck even through PowerPoint. So just make sure you give it detailed instructions. Now, with chat, the issue is right now it's analyzing the data and all of that, but you're having to give it the source. You're having to get it to explain. If you're using this exact same prompt in Copilot, Copilot has access to previous reports. It has access to the day-to-day, so it'll be able to provide something more thorough. So sorry, Heileen, I think Copilot definitely wins on this one.
Oh yes, no, and I agree with that.
I'll let you take over the win.
No, I was actually thinking as well, because Excel has Copilot embedded within it. So you wouldn't have to go to the app as well and type this in. You would go in Excel and you would type that prompt in Excel, and it would read all that spreadsheet, and it could even turn it into a chart within your Excel platform, which I find that's the win there. So we asked it the same prompt here. As you can see, a lot more concise, direct action command, and add a short summary. I like that as well, because sometimes with lots and lots of data and information, you want to make it as concise for the reader. So you can even ask it to assess all this data and put into 3 key takeaways, so that the person who you're sending it to knows what they're looking at.
100%. Thanks, Heileen. So which one should we use? This is my favorite part. Okay, so Copilot, we feel Copilot is a dominant tool for business because of the fact that it ties into your apps, okay? I will say, however, that we will say that the conclusion we've really come to is you can use them together, okay? We've been testing, so I'm working with 3 different platforms right now. Obviously, Copilot is the dominant one. We're a Microsoft shop. We support Copilot. But you don't have to choose one. They do things differently, and they both have different talents, right? Jeff, who's one of our CFOs, just shared in the chat a use case. Thank you, Jeff. And he's saying that it has Copilot can have some limitations in the analysis and creating tables, absolutely. So again, remember, they're a little stricter and there's more hallucinations. Hallucinations is when your AI prompt, you put it through and it's thinking. And all the podcasts I've been listening to are, don't be too frustrated with the hallucinations because it's a good thing when the bot is thinking, right? You don't want it to just spit out language from the LLM if you're using a free version without thinking. So it is good to test both platforms as Jeff's doing to see which one is giving you the output that you want. But if we move forward to the next slide, Hugo, and we'll show you one pricing. Make sure though that if you're using another tool as well with Copilot, that it's the paid version. And why is that, Heileen?
Yeah, so ChatGPT, the free version, whatever you're typing in gets fed into the large language model. So large language models where all that data and information is stored. So if you're using the free version, you're consenting to all your information being put out there, even sensitive information. So other people using ChatGPT free version can then pull the information that you're putting into that large language model. So we recommend if you're going to experiment with chat, the free version, be very careful of what you input. If you're going to start using it for your business day to day, please use one of the paid options. I believe there's a few tiers. And actually, if we go on to the next slide, I think we talked about the ChatGPT. Yes. So we've talked about how Copilot integrates really well with your Microsoft environment, that things are changing. So in June of this year, ChatGPT introduced connectors, and these connectors can allow the chat, but again, the paid version to connect with SharePoint, OneDrive, Google Drive as well. So if you're going to experiment with chat, please do. We encourage it. Just make sure you're using one of these paid versions so you can use it to the full capacity without having any fear of your data being used elsewhere.
Or turn off, as Jeffrey's sharing, turn off the LLM toggle in the chat. I think a lot of people don't realize, right? So we're not against chat at all. It's just that if you're not paying for a version, we want to make sure that companies' intellectual data isn't going out to feed the large language model, right? So I'd say when you look at, I would call it an agentic workforce. When you look at building your agentic workforce, you want to look at various tools because they're all moving at a different pace in the race, right? So when you look initially, Copilot, I would say, was winning the race. Then chat kept caught up. Now Gemini is making a lot of progress. So remain curious. That's what we do. Even when we're building AI transformation plans for our clients, it's not one size fits all. It doesn't mean you have to solely use Copilot. We want to understand what the priorities are. Mm-hmm. So we think Copilot today is still the best. If you're going to choose one tool, and Copilot is still the best choice for M365 organizations, but the connectors are powerful, and it's a landscape that's changing every second, everyone, right? So as your partners, it's our responsibility to keep you in the know about what are the latest and greatest improvements, but we'll be having webinars in regards to AI every quarter to keep you up to date because it's changing really quickly. And if there's any specific topics that you're looking to learn about, in terms of these different AI tools, don't hesitate to let us know because we do these for you. All right, let's keep going. Now, neither is better. It's about fit and context. Okay, so what do we want you to remember? Good prompts will get you better results. When you're dealing with chat, you want to give it all the context. And do you want to take us through the rest, Heileen? I'll let you take over the Copilot.
Yeah, so for Copilot, as we showcased today, you can keep it short because the context is already within it. And it's not which is better, it's about fit and context. So as Anouk said, many different AI platforms are racing with one another. For example, Gemini is great for images and coding, Copilot great for that business admin work, chat, it's great for creativity. So please experiment with all of the above.
100%. And as you get to know your different tools, you'll know what's the right fit for you. So we have a Kahoot, I think. Is it time? Almost.
Oh, this is just a reminder here. Yeah.
Yeah. Our cybersecurity tip is just never pay sensitive information into your AI tools. I mean, Techify clients are pretty well educated in that, but just always remind your staff, even when you're doing a company meeting monthly, it's good to have a cybersecurity tip, right, that you can share with your team just so that everybody's always remaining vigilant if they're not doing fentering.
Yeah, it's also great to ask your staff which they are using. It's best to hear from them what they found most effective in their day-to-day work, and also find out if they're using paid versions and identifying that AI policy with your team to make sure that they're not putting any sensitive information onto any free versions of AI.
You got it. You got it. All right, now it's Kahoot. I think I was just excited for it. Okay, so Hugo's just going to change the screen so that we can get ready for the Kahoot. For anybody who's new, all you have to do with Kahoot is we're going to give you a URL. You're going to type that into your browser or your phone, and you're going to put in the Kahoot code. We'll give you a few minutes to get set up, and then we'll run the Kahoot. And the person who wins will get a $25 gift card to Starbucks, Amazon, whatever makes them happy. So I would encourage everyone to either get their phone ready for a URL or to get a new browser tab open so that you're ready, and Hugo will share the instructions in a couple seconds.
So I put the URL in the chat if you're going to be joining from your laptop. If you can also join from your phone using the same URL, or you can have the app, and the game pin is right up top here, 616221.
While everybody's doing that, I want to share. Sharing is caring. So I created my own first avatar. I need to make her a little more dirty blonde and change her eye color, but I'm going to share her in the chat. And this is just going to show you some of the power of Gemini AI image creation.
Oh my God, I love it.
They're definitely the front runner, I find, in image creation. So if you want a fun activity to do with your teens or kiddos, that's also fun. You can create avatars.
I love that. Did you prompt like make it a superhero, or did that just happen naturally?
Yeah, well, I said Wonder Woman because she's my favorite.
Nice. I love it.
Yeah.
When you said avatar, I thought you were talking about Teams has an option to create your avatar.
Well, the reason I created her is I created my first agent, and I wanted that to be the icon.
Okay.
And I had to work with the file format because for the icon to be accepted by Copilot. But like I said, the more you play with it, the more curious you are. It's pretty neat, the advancements they're making. The fact that it was able to create that with a prompt, it's pretty good, right?
Like this.
All right, are we ready? Are we ready? Let's do it. Kahoot time. So
the way this works for everyone, we have the question up, and you can select your answer, and the quickest answer gets more points. So even if you got it right, if you were last, you would get less points than the quickest person to submit an answer.
Heileen, you cut out for 2 seconds, so I'll just tell them, the quicker you answer, the more points you get. Okay. Why is prompting for AI so important? Is it for good prompts equal better results? AI is only as good as the question you ask. Clear, specific prompts give clear, specific answers. All of the above. Nice. Microsoft Copilot is a great AI tool because it's built into a Microsoft 365 environment. It's great for documents, emails, etc. It knows your data, all of the above. Nice. You want to take the next two, Heileen?
Yeah, of course. Patrick's still in the lead. So ChatGPT is a great AI tool because it's flexible and extendable. There's a free version. It can do work for you. It can read your mind. I wish
Not yet.
We don't have that connector yet.
It's flexible and extensible. Slash, it feels like your bestie. Patrick's still in the lead.
So for Copilot, your prompt should include a role, be descriptive, and give good context. True or false? You see people answering faster, on the side where.
So we do, everyone, we do Kahoots at our monthly meetings at Techify, because we call in team members that are in different geographic locations. And it's very fun, very competitive. So that's why we brought it to our client base. So correct, it is false. Copilot needs a little bit less than chat would need because it's tied into your environment. But again, it has to be set up properly for the data access, right?
Mm-hmm.
Patrick's remaining in the lead.
Nice job. Yeah. You want to take this one, Anouk?
Let's do it. ChatGPT is more bring your own data than Microsoft Copilot. Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Correct, because it's not tied into your 365 environment. All right, I'll take the next one, and Heileen, I'll let you finish it off.
Sounds good.
Patrick's still in the lead, not giving up. So for ChatGPT, your prompts should be descriptive and give good context, add style or tone, assign a role, or all of the above. Let's see.
Nice.
A lot of people got that one right. All right, last one, everyone. Patrick, this is no pressure.
Okay, true or false? The new connectors feature allows ChatGPT to integrate into SharePoint, OneDrive, Google Drive, etc. True or false?
Just so everyone knows, the winner will be contacted by our teammate Hugo for the gift card. All right, 23 people got that one right. And let's see. Okay, so in third place, Greg. Nice work, Greg. Second place, Ethan. Well done. And then our winner is Patrick. And Patrick was consistently the winner. So Patrick, Hugo will reach out to you and give you your prize that you choose. Nice work. All right. Okay, so we want to leave you with a couple pointers. So first of all, if you want to continue the AI conversation, reach out to Heileen. She's more than happy to walk you through what Techify AI is doing for clients with no pressure, just so that you're in the know and you're aware of how we can support you. Secondly, the conversation doesn't stop here. If other questions come up, you have account managers. We're here to support you as your tech partner to make these decisions as you're transforming the way you and your staff work. So you have Alan and William, who are here to support as your account managers. You have Heileen, who's here to support as your AI, Techify AI specialist. And we'll have another webinar in a month to walk you through some more goodness. And that is it for us, but we'd love your feedback because we want to make sure you're learning and growing from these webinars. We're really trying to make them no more than 35 to 45 minutes to be respectful of your time. So let us know the value you feel you got. And again, if there's another topic you'd like to hear, let us know. Hugo, you're going to put up a poll? So we'll get you guys. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. We'll get you guys to just, if you don't have time to do the poll, feel free to just send us a note in regards to other topics. If you want to learn more about agents, if you want to learn more about Excel, these are for you. So we'll cater whatever content helps you shine bright. And that is it. We wish you all a great day, and we'll see you in a few weeks.
Thank you, everyone.
Ciao.